Hey guys, how you doing today? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for stopping by to view this video. And we are on week 2 of this. Now before we get into it, my week has been pretty crappy, so don't mind me sharing it a little bit or anything because it's actually like really bothered me a lot. And it's nothing to do with the stock market or anything. It's just like some of the stuff that's been going on with me personally. Um, One thing before we get into that, one thing I want to put on a note for here is that I'm actually adding a new holding. It's going to be Southern Company. I don't have any money to put into this, but if I get any dividends that reinvest, then I'll let it go into that as 10% of my portfolio. Along with the rest of them, I actually changed their allocations. I made Hormel Foods Corporation, Bank of America, and Southwest Airlines 2% because I found out how volatile they were. So I figured, maybe I shouldn't put as much money into these because of how volatile they can get, and put more money into AT&T and Coca-Cola and Southern Company because they're not as bad as in volatility wise for when stuff is going on. But my portfolio is still diversified and I don't have as much to worry about. But anyways, yeah, even though the stock market has a different saying on how my week was financially, my personal life just absolutely sucked this week because Sunday and Monday during Labor Day weekend, after I was done checking balance sheets and income statements for different companies, I did 25 on Sunday, and I was pretty burned out after that, and I did another 25 on Monday. And then that's how I found Southern Company as a good stock, since it's a utility stock and it's something I don't have yet for a regulated utility stock. I was pretty burned out, and then Monday, Tuesday, nothing happened, but then Wednesday, um, man, Wednesday was horrible because I was just watching some live streams on twitch.tv. If any of you guys know what that website is. This is why I don't invest in Amazon specifically, because even though it's not a dividend stock, I still don't do it anyways since they're a part of it. And recently I've been finding a lot of not volatile, but a lot of toxic users on twitch.tv, and I'm like, why are these people even here if they're not happy with themselves doing live streaming and all that? And for me, I have it as part of my hobby because I need something that's free, so I don't go spending money on games or anything like that for a number of reasons because of doing this kind of stuff, besides making videos for you guys as well. And my God, I don't understand people's logic on twitch.tv sometimes. It's not like everybody's like that. It's more of like when Twitch users that are desperate and toxic and all that. It's just ridiculous that people are actually existing on this platform for live stream gaming or real life streaming for art and all that. The one day I was actually on there, well, the day I was on there for Wednesday, I was minding my own business, and then I was looking for some people to watch who would be a little easier to talk to because, I look for some people's channels that are at a lower viewer rate for their channels, so I have an easier time talking to the streamer basically. And I met one person who she was doing The Sims 4, and then I was completely fine with it, nothing bad happening. And then all of a sudden she was all interested in getting into YouTube afterwards. And I'm like, okay, I could probably help her and all that. So I told her something. I didn't tell her exactly everything that I knew because I just met her, but I told her some things that I knew about YouTube, but not everything. And and believe me, I've done YouTube ever since I was 17, across like different accounts because um at the time when I was like 19, when I had my old account, that one got disabled from YouTube because at that time I wasn't aware about like hacking or anything like that, and this guy just was able to actually fish my information, and then he just logged into my account and deleted multiple videos I had to do it as like a prank to get back at me for, well, not get back at me, but to make a fool out of me for doing that. And then next thing you know, YouTube just disabled my old account, so I could no longer get it back. So I did it from around that time until today, basically, and so on when I make more videos after this one. So she was asking me for help, and she wanted to do like VR games, basically, and I was just telling her the info and stuff. And I thought she was a good person, and then next thing you know, the rest of her community had a different story about it because I went to watch somebody else's art stream that came up on on like some sort of notification thing with a bot that she was using on her Discord server after I joined it, and I was talking with her after I was done talking with her on there at the time. And I just went to this art person's stream, and next thing you know, I found out that this guy that was a mod, he was pretty much abusive and toxic and said some stuff he probably shouldn't have said on a stream chat. And I tried, and I pretty much thought, oh, it must be an 18 plus stream, so I went to say something to add in the conversation about what was going on the art stream. And next thing you know, he decided to delete my message when the whole thing thought it was inappropriate for like filtering out messages. So I'm just like, okay, that's really unfair. You get to say that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you have that thing filter out my message and you delete it. So then basically the streamer decided to back him up, and I got a little flared up about it because I found it very unfair that he was allowed to say that kind of stuff, even allowed to say inappropriate things when I wasn't. So I blocked the streamer and blocked the moderator on the stream and left. Then I went to vent out about it on the Discord server because, well, typically I was angry. And then after that, the one of the Discord moderators decided to get after me about it, and I'm just like, what did I do to deserve that, you know? So then the girl that I was talking to, who was typically the server owner, I went asking her, like, why is this guy on my case when you made his channel specifically for venting? And I'm just like sitting there for like an hour or so, waiting for her to respond, even though she said she was busy working on something. I just sat there patiently waiting, and she didn't like get back to me, so I just blocked everybody that caused me an issue, and then that was the end of it at that point. So I'm just like, you know what, this isn't worth my time or even worth like stressing about. But the problem was I was stressed out anyways because of these people that were basically giving me a splitting headache at that point. So after that point, I just went on looking for streams that were like a little bit more friendly and all that, and then it was fine afterwards because of that. So then on Thursday, I had to go and see my caseworker for the same place where I go to get my therapy at for mental therapy, because I've been like dealing with like a lot of stress and all that. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to avoid that stuff on Twitch, because I've been seeing a therapist ever since the beginning of May this year. And, I just don't need that kind of drama in my life where people want to make me feel miserable and all that other stuff. So it wasn't worth my time or anything like that for that happening. But on Thursday, I basically had to call, had a public, well, I called earlier in the week and had a public transportation service pick me up and drop me off at the place where I'm going, and having some personal problems I was having being trying to be resolved. And Thursday was just a bad day because, oh, excuse me. Anyways, Thursday was just a bad day because my case manager was trying to help me out with stuff, and she was like calling up stuff, well, calling up places about services that could help me out, but I'm not gonna say what kind or anything. And it was kind of frustrating, a real pain, and it just wasn't going anywhere yesterday when in the afternoon on Thursday. It was just a real, like, living nightmare when that was going on. Because everybody in the room was, like, getting all frustrated when they were trying to help me out and all that. So then, after the meeting was done, I had to wait for my ride to come and pick me up afterwards from the same transportation service. And I'm standing outside waiting to get picked up. And it was just a mess, like a real mess, because I was standing outside for like almost an hour and they were not showing up. So I had to walk back into the place to tell them that my ride came late. And then they gave me a phone number to call a certain person to know like the status of where my ride was at, basically. So I tried to dial the number, but it wasn't working, and then the phone was set on D&D, and it was the type of phone that I did not recognize, so I didn't know how to change it or anything like that. So I had to go back over, ask the secretary that the phone was set on Do Not Disturb, or D&D for short. So she went and messed with it, because apparently somebody else was messing with it before me. So she fixed it, she dialed the number for me, and then she let me talk with a person on the phone, and then it got resolved after that, thankfully. But it just took a little bit longer to get myself picked up along with some other guy that was staying outside with me, and then I got home fine. But then a little bit of it turned around afterwards, because it wasn't so bad, because on somebody's Twitch stream that I was watching from a few days ago from this week, they were playing the game Overwatch, if you ever heard of it, and it's a game that's supported under the Blizzard stock, basically. And I actually won one of their giveaways on their stream, and they sent me a Funko Pop keychain of an Overwatch playable character called Soldier 76, which was pretty exciting for me, because I really like him because of seeing like the animated video for him and seeing some people play as him in the past. And that pretty much brightened my day a little bit, because when I got off of the public transportation yesterday, I walked into the breezeway and I saw a package sitting right on the marble top table well, not table, a marble top counter, or actually it was a drawer, not a counter, but a drawer that we had with a marble top on it. Or actually, no, not marble, it was actually granite. It was a granite top. Anyways, I saw that, and then I took a picture of it and sent it in the media channel on Discord. for that. So yeah, my week's been mostly stressful, but it wasn't that bad. From It wasn't as bad as yesterday, but Wednesday was really stressful, and Sunday and Monday was really stressful. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and check my portfolio, anyways. I just need to get that off my chest because it really bothered me, and I just needed to vent it out somewhere where people would understand, like, yeah, not everybody's perfect, but, sometimes it's okay to share these kinds of things so people have a general understanding of how you're feeling, basically. So, anyways, now that that's out of the way, um, as you can tell, I'm in the positive my on my portfolio, and I both have AT&T and Coca-Cola at 42% allocation. And technically, I purposely made them underweight, but the only reason why is because AT&T is actually starting to do really good now. So if the price ever drops again, I want to make sure that I can buy it out again and try to match the weight of it, which is another close to another $70 added into that, which would make it over $150 if I actually placed it in there from the amounts there. And then Coca-Cola, they sort of didn't go anywhere during this week. It just like barely went up by like 11 cents, but it was kind of lagged a little bit. And it started going down. It was like at $78.37, but then it started going down a little bit more. So there's that. And then Hormel Foods Corporation, Bank of America, and Southwest Airlines, I actually dropped the allocation on them to 2%, mainly because I started finding out that these companies are very volatile. So I'm not going to sell them the shares to them or anything, or even I'm not even going to hit the rebalance button to rebalance it so it's equal weight or anything. I'm just going to leave my positions alone on how they are and just let them continue to grow and so on from what's going on here. So for Hormel Foods Corporation, it only went up by like 5 cents today, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, I have to remember that this is a safer investment compared to a lot of stuff that I've seen. So it kind of went down a little bit during this week. And then it went up, went down, and then it started going a little bit more sideways, which is not bad. But I'm still in the positive, so I don't have much to worry about on that. And Bank of America is actually starting to come out of the situation that it's in a little bit, because you can see here that it was actually going up and down a lot, and it started going down again from today. And it's still in the negative, but the thing is, I actually got a dividend from them from yesterday, I think it was. But I don't think M1 Finance is going to pay it until like later in the month or after this month in September. I don't know when they're going to give it to me, but they'll either give it to me in the middle of the month or at the end of the month, depending on how everything is and all that. So this one pretty much is more sideways and went down a little bit, and it went down by like 39 cents. And it's only down by like $3 just about, so it's just negative 4.2%. But it's still doing somewhat bad, but it's not really, it's only like a few dollars per share that I had here. So now Southwest Airlines, they were doing pretty good, but then they just went downwards from today, which is it's still okay. I mean, I'm still in the positive on here, but it just only went up by like slightly, but then it kind of fell back a little bit after it dropped. So now it's like less than what I had from last week. But all that matters is I'm still in the positive on this as well. So now for Southern Company, I'm not going to put any more money into my portfolio, like I said, but if any dividends are placed in his cash balance here and it gets reinvested into this, then I don't mind that afterwards. But right now, I'm just saving money up in my savings account because this is the most that I'm willing to risk right now, while I'm saving more money up and taking care of myself afterwards. So this whole entire portfolio is pretty much doing really good right now. It's up by more than $1 pretty much, and it's like 0.5% return overall. So it's not that bad. I mean, it's not that bad at all since I've actually done my research and my homework for two of the companies. And then for Bank of America, Coca-Cola, and AT&T, I actually went to look at their balance sheets during this week as well while I was doing that on Sunday and Monday for Labor Day weekend. And pretty much I got lucky when I looked at them because they're actually all doing good. Bank of America, they're somewhat doing okay. It's just that they have to make sure to watch their debt and all that, basically their liabilities, from what it said on the balance sheet. But overall, these other three companies are still doing pretty good, and Bank of America is doing fair right now. And then I checked the stuff for Southern Company, and it's actually doing good as well. Southern Company is making more assets than liabilities, so then their assets, long-term assets, are able to pay off their current liabilities each year. So as long as they keep it that way, then they'll continue to make profit and they'll keep going up. And I'll show you one here for the watch list that they were up by 18 cents today from there. And they're pretty much a safe utility stock because it says the PE ratio is 13.70, which is not bad at all. So it's like a very safe investment, but not like, but you're still going to have volatility happen on this, just not as much. And its dividend yield is 14.17%, well, 4.17%, I mean. And it's almost at $2.50 for a dividend yield each year. So if I had a couple shares of these, it would be $2.48 a year per share after I buy into this. So now, one of the other things is that I decided to do something stupid for this video series. Excuse me. In my research tab, I'm going to decide to make a pie that you would not really invest in for each week as kind of like a gag thing, basically. Something funny. So what I did was I made this pie called Never Invest in This. And believe me, you do not want to invest in this. I have 4 different holdings that's around almost a 12% yield. And even though it looks good, you never want to invest in these for a good reason. Because 3 of them are real estate and one's a master limited partnership. Excuse me. But yeah, you do not want to invest in these because these are like really high yield. And it kind of represents that the companies are doing bad even though they are at a low price and all that. So you don't even want to invest in these. Because last time I checked on this, let's look up NLY right here. And this is one you do not want to invest in because it's all red within a 5-year time span of what their price history is. Even though it's a $1 a year per share, they're not completely stable or anything. And then NRZ, this one's like coming out positive, but in reality, within like the past 3 years, it's been in the negative, but 5 years, it's only up by 2.55%. So its dividend yield is nearly 14%, and it's like doing horrible right now from how it looks. So that's another one you do not want to invest in. Another good example is PSEC from our gag pie basically, or our joke around pie. And this one's all negative as well, even though it's at 11% for 72 cents a dividend yield. Last time I remember when I used to use Robinhood from last year, their dividend was a lot higher than that for their yearly dividend yield. And now that the price has dropped dramatically from this, because the price used to be worth a lot more as an asset management company that pays yearly, well, not yearly, monthly. I mean, their whole portfolio, well, not portfolio, their whole company just really, really went downhill on here afterwards. And then this one really grinds my gears for Sunoco, because my brother said that he's investing in this. It's an energy stock that's oil and gas, and it's refining and marketing. And basically, if you guys don't know what Sunoco is basically a gas company that that's like specialized for race cars and all that. So if any of you guys are like into sports and all that, you would know what I'm talking about. And my brother was basically getting $3 a quarter from this when he put his money into it. So I don't know how many shares he actually has, but however much he had, it's just like not really doing as good. But I mean, if it's still going up like this, and the 5-year annualized of the price history is over 9.5% in the negative, I mean, I wouldn't be sticking my money in that anyways, because you never know, it might drop, because it hasn't had much growth in the past several years from what's going on there. So it's $3.30 for like closing in on 11% dividend yield for this limited partnership. And it's at a $2 billion market cap, and it's 20.40 PE ratio. I mean, as tempting as it looks, I wouldn't even put my money in this anyways, because it's just not doing good whatsoever from like the past 5 years. I mean, if it's like that, and then all of a sudden it's like not really showing any progress of growth like that, then I wouldn't even do it for an energy company like that. I mean, I avoid companies like this that are energy stocks. I mean, a utility stock, I don't have an issue with, but if it's energy or anything that is going to be like way, way too volatile and risky, then I just wouldn't put any money into it or anything like that. So, I mean, Hormel Foods, Bank of America, and Southwest Airlines, I'm completely fine with them because they're a little bit safer. But if it's energy stocks and REITs or consumer cyclicals, I would just avoid them like a plague, basically. Because I don't want I basically don't want my returns getting ruined, and I don't want my dividend growth getting all messed up. Besides having market gains, so the prices on my shares go up as well. Because you want some appreciation in your portfolio when you do that. So basically, that's pretty much about it. I mean, I know this video was a little bit longer than what I expected because, I needed to talk about my week to you guys because of how much it bothered me. So you'd understand, like, what some of the stuff I have to deal with every single day during my personal life. So, yeah, anyways, if you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment if there's a pinned question down, or you can just type in your own comment about the video if you want to. And share this video with anybody if you find it useful or entertaining, anything like that. And I'll see you guys on week 3 of next Friday during this video series. So, thanks for stopping by, you guys, and I'll see you guys later on the next video on Friday.